Welcome back to the KO'd Convo. I'm here with one of my great friends from high school, Bosco Bauopeleh. He's originally from Ghana. He traveled to the States when he was in sixth grade, I believe.
Yes.
And right before we started, we were just talking about how his favorite pump-up music is actually African music. When did that start?
It started I'll say my freshman year. I
College?
started listening to it a little, but then my junior year, that's when a new guys from Ghana came to Warford to play soccer for the team. So they started playing that music more often. So I was like, you know what, this music is lit. So I started listening to it more and more and more. And it just keeps telling me, like, pumping me up.
Is that your normal? Would that have been your normal pre-meet music then?
Yes, that would. Even before and after the meet, I'm listening to it.
Yeah. So, uh, real quick before we go back to your background and stuff, I mean, I want to focus on the athletic side to start. What was your mindset like before each match? How focused were you, and what helped you get that focused?
Oh, I mean, that gets me focused on track. I would probably say motivation because I'm trying to hit my goals. I'm trying to hit that time that I feel like it'll get me in good position for recruitment and all that stuff. So that's my motivation.
Did you have the same pre-meet like routine before each race, or did you switch it up during
I
your?
switched it up because high school was different. Coach Buckley had a different setup of how we're supposed to warm up before meet. But then when I got to college, my college coach also had a different routine.
Yeah,
So it's kind of different, but
two
I
different.
end up doing,
That's right.
yeah, two different things. But sometimes if I feel like my college way of warming up isn't enough, I add in my high school routine a little bit to get myself sweating more.
There you go. There you go. How was it 4 years running Division I collegiate track in the U.S.? I
It's fun. It's fun and hard at the same time. Was the way you practice in the collegiate level is so hard. It's so hard. The workouts, oh Lord, it's death, man. When we have the hard days, I just feel like today's not gonna be my day. No one should be talking to me. I'm focused right here. I'm trying to finish this workout and be gone.
you
It's hard,
as quick
but
as
it's fun. Yeah.
during those times. Um, in terms of the team, though, was there more people from outside of South Carolina? He went to Wofford in South Carolina, by the way. Was there more people outside of Wofford running than or outside of South Carolina running than inside? Like,
No,
did more people come from out of state?
no, not really.
No.
They all came from my rival school. Like when I went to middle school in Charleston, so the most of them came from Wando High School, and that was like my rival school.
Oh,
So yeah, a lot of them. But on the sprinter side, I was about 4 people that were out of state. So not a huge. There's not that many diversity when it comes to state wise.
right, right. But the camaraderie, I mean, the chemistry was certainly there among you sprinters, right?
Yes, you gotta have chemistry, especially when we are doing the 4x4 and the 4x1. Yeah, you gotta have chemistry with that.
Did you ever drop
But
the baton? You never dropped the baton, did you?
I did.
Many times.
I did. I dropped the baton during our final 4x1 relay. I dropped it, and then I was like, "Oh, damn, I dropped it." So I started to walk back, and coach was like, "Grab the baton and run." So I grabbed it, and we ended up coming third place. Well, all the team, about 4 teams, got DQ'd.
That's
I
great.
was like, whoa, yeah.
What
Even our girls' team ran faster than us. but I dropped the baton. We ran 56 seconds.
Uh, what were you?
Huh?
What position were you? Were you the anchor? Were you the anchor?
No, I wish I was the anchor, but it came me on the second leg.
Ford
Usually, huh?
cued that race?
Yeah, so like when he handed me the baton, I had it on my left hand, but I thought it was like Usain Bolt, so I switched it to my right hand, and that's when I slipped and fell on the track and rolled all the way to the grass.
Right. The
Uh,
Ghani Usain Bolt, as they say, huh?
yeah, exactly.
So it seemed like you had a lot of ups and downs, but would you say running or I wouldn't say I would combine it. Would you say being a student athlete at a Division I school was gave you more benefits?
No, that's hard because I feel like if you go to a bigger school, you have more benefits. But as a small school that I went to, Warford was a small school, so the benefit wasn't for an athlete, a student athlete, we didn't have that much benefit.
Right. Right.
You know,
But
we're
did
treated the same as a student, regular student.
yeah, but as a student athlete, obviously you had to take away something, right? Like you had to take away time management, like your time management improved and your organizational skills obviously improved.
Yeah.
Student, right?
Yeah. So for me, freshman year all the way to junior year, I focused on track. I didn't care about school that much. Even though I do my homework and all that, but I was still focused on track. But I was focused on my goal to hit that time that I needed. But after that, huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
So after that, and I started my coach, the way coach was training me wasn't helping me reach my goal. So I was like, you know what? If I retire from running track, what is there for me? So that's when I started focusing on school stuff. And I didn't care much about track. So
So,
that's
so would you say then your love of track kind of faded away as you went on?
yes, based on how we practice.
Yeah.
As a pure sprinter, I felt like I wasn't doing what a pure sprinter would be doing. So it
And-
just ruins my day every time, especially at practice. And you're supposed to have fun when you're running track. But at this point, I was like, I just want to be done. I just want to be done with this practice and be gone.
Want to go home, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, you had to have thought though, and I know you've told me this about running for the Ghanaian national team though, right?
exactly. That was the goal.
That was one of your goals, and then did it
Yes.
fade away with the love of track?
Yes, it did. Well, I wasn't improving as much compared to how I was in high school. So,
Yeah, you did have a pretty rapid rise in high school, I remember. And for those listeners, Bosco and I went to the same high school, Stuart Hall High School in San Francisco. And his athletic, once everybody realized how much of an athletic freak this kid was, everyone wanted them on every sport. It didn't matter what it was. He joined the football team freshman year, and one of the fastest guys, I think he was a senior at the time. He was the quarterback, LeBoyder Card,
yes.
the guy down the field and couldn't catch him. And then all of a sudden you see Bosco coming from the other angle, just completely chasing him down. And everyone's like, what the heck?
Yeah, that was one of my best highlights. And the one that Alkiza, when I almost jumped over the guy,
Oh my,
that was dope.
this guy was nuts. And then of course, Coach Buckley, Mr. Buckley, our track and field coach, came out of the woodworks and he was just like, yeah, you're going to run for me.
Yes. At first, I was like, what is track? But I never knew what track was besides cross country because I did cross country in middle school.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, but then your rise as a track athlete certainly was well documented and well respected until an unfortunate injury your senior year kind of derailed that a little bit. Did that kind of like when that injury happened, did that sort of change your mindset or like make you lose confidence in your ability?
Yes, especially when the doctor told me that I will never be able to run or get back to my top speed. So just killed my spirit. But I also tried to prove him wrong. So that's when I started working harder and harder, going to PT all the time. And I even took a year off from running. Was redshirted my freshman year to get my hip flexor fixed after the surgery.
What what was your, if you can remember, and if you can't, that's okay. What was your PR in high school?
It was 10.72 for the 100, then 21.74 for the 200.
So 10.72 for the 100.
Yes.
And then how close were you to getting to what the doctor said you couldn't get to, like 75% or so in college?
In college for the 100, I guess because I pushed myself so hard, I got better on the blocks. So I was able to prove by 0.01 seconds on the 100. But the 200, I could not get back to like my top speed on the two. So it was devastating, but that's my main event. I love the 200.
Why?
Because I'm not good at the blocks. I'm like a plane. It takes me. I could start slowly, then I start building up my speed. So,
So then once you turn that corner, then you can.
oh yes, that's I'm up in the air. I'm already there. I'm flying, guys. I'm flying.
But were you better at the 200 or better at the 100?
Better the 200.
So that would be your specialty, you would say, if you had to choose
Yes.
one race. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So let's kind of switch gears here and go back to your background. You grew up in Ghana, and just what was life like growing up in a completely different country and then coming over to the United States?
It was it was different, but in a good way. The way I grew up, even though like we usually walk to school, it's about 2 miles, and I thought that was kind of fun. Like you take a shortcut, cross over a river to go to school early before you be late. But here, coming to the United States was a shock to me. It just the way the system works here is completely different from back home. And I feel like here you have more freedom to do whatever you want.
Right.
No, yeah, you have more freedom when it comes to like you can go to school late and then you'll just be like go downstairs and get a what's called a permission slip or something like that and then bring it back up. That's all. But back home you get punished for that.
Oh, even if you're like a minute late and stuff.
Yeah, if you're a minute late, it's a punishment.
And your region or town, it was called Bolgatanga, right? Did I get that right?
Yes, Balgatanga, Upper East region.
So was it kind of like a culture shock to you in the sense of how different the population was, like coming to Charleston and then San Francisco, which is even more populated? Was that population a little bit of a shock to you, the population difference?
No, not really. No.
No.
I mean I don't mind about that stuff. That did not affect me. It was just the way people were living their life that was kind of shocking to me, especially in San Francisco. It was completely different. I loved it. That was the best city that I've been to.
Yeah, it certainly is it certainly is a great spot. So you come into the United States around middle school age. Were you nervous at all? What were some of like the roadblocks, obviously, that you had to go through?
It's, one of the toughest part was speaking English, getting people to understand what I was saying. So that was a struggle, a huge struggle.
Oh, good.
Yeah, even though it's not perfect, but yeah, I put a lot of effort into it. There's up and downs with this, making people cry. I was crying. I couldn't understand them. They couldn't understand me. So every day after school, I would stay with my language teacher. He would teach me English. We go over all our homework, math, all the way to like science topics. He helped me with it. So that's pretty good. And I appreciated that a lot.
Nice, nice. Obviously, the language barrier is such a like complex thing, and a lot of people don't really understand it. So I mean, but your English is great now, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
But than your native tongue, to be honest, and I've never really heard you speak your native tongue. So, uh, so I also want to talk about the kind of difficulty because I know you did have some difficulty being able to come over here, right? Because it is pretty hard for Ghanaians to leave, not just for the United States, but for other countries as well, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, I think recently the government, the president, made an, what was it? He made a deal about how he could get some of the African Americans that are descendant of Ghana side to come back and they could get their citizenship to help with the economy. So that's why it's hard for Ghanaians to get issued for visa to leave the country to go to a different country. But they want everyone to help the country economy rather than going out to work for other countries and help them out rather than helping their own country.
And obviously, I believe, and it's a lot easier for like a student to leave, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I tried when we tried to get our visa just to visit, we got denied twice. And then we end up saying we're coming here for school. And that's when they issued it. But then we have to renew our visa every 4 years. So that was tricky and hard too.
So when was the last time you were actually back home?
Sophomore year in college,
And when's the next time you think you'll be going?
after my OPT is over. So when I graduated, I applied for the OPT. It's an optional practice training that allows me, it's like a work visa, but I have to work specifically in my major field for a year. And then when that's up, I have to apply for the STEM or go back home.
And what are your and you studied environmental studies, is that
Yes, environmental studies.
so? Talk to me about that. What are your sort of goals with that major? I know you're big into like landscaping and stuff, but are there any more long-term goals that you have regarding that major or degree?
I want to focus on recycling and sustainability. I feel like growing up back home, a lot of the things that we do were not being reused to be sustainable. So I feel like getting this major, having this knowledge, and trying to acquire more knowledge in that field and take it back home and educate the youth to help them learn how to make things sustainable so we don't keep wasting resources.
Oh, so you want to like teach the youth and other people back home the right techniques to like
Yes,
cycle and stuff like that?
exactly. Well, it's hard. And recycling part is a huge deal because whenever we use any plastic or we just throw it on the ground and then go on with our lives. We don't mean there are not that many recycling bins around the area for people to recycle or throw the trash away. The trash is our land. They just dump it on the ground and move on.
Yeah, what are some of the long-term like repercussions for something like that, especially in a place like Ghana where you could have like I know malaria is pretty big over there too.
Yeah.
Talk about some of like the long-term repercussions of something like that, of practices like that going on.
Well, if you can recycle the plastics, especially like a plastic bucket or a bowl that when you leave in the ground and when it rains, it's gonna collect water. And that's what mosquitoes like. They like a stable water. So when those containers or trash collects the water and just stays still without anyone pouring it out or cleaning the environment, the mosquitoes take advantage of that and reproduce. And then that's when they start biting us and then we get a malaria. And that sickness is not, it's not fun. That's one of the worst feelings when you have a malaria. And I had it like it's 8 times.
Oh, before you came over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
What,
had so many times.
I mean, how long did it take for you to get over it?
With the medicine, it takes 3 days.
But with no
But
medicine.
yeah, without medicine, I have no idea. I know my mom and my dad will try their best to get that medicine. And usually the pharmacy is like, you could say it's about 4 to 5 miles away from our house. And then you have to walk or you take a bike. And we didn't have that much. We didn't have bikes until we met our guardian. So that was a long walk to get a medicine.
Yeah, did you think about walking to Stuart Hall ever up those super steep hills?
Oh, you know I used to walk it all the time. Fillmore Street all the way to Converse, and then your dad started giving us a ride. That was
Hey, 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 hey.
yeah, that was interesting, man. Yeah, so I'll get up early to walk because I know those hills is gonna slow me down. I'll even be walking backwards sometimes. Those hills were killing.
Yeah, man.
It got me strong though.
Oh yeah, yeah, those hills are some of those streets it's different animals. That's for sure.
Exactly.
It was super nice though walking down. Like remember when Bosco and I met in an advisory, and our advisor would take us down the street and walk us down to get bagels all the time.
Yes, all the time. Because we were the best advisors that he had, advisees, or what do you call it? Students he had for it.
Whenever he was pissed at someone else, he'd be like, "All right, let's go to Fillmore. I'm done
I
with."
know. That's always the best feeling, field ball. Those bagels though, those that makes the day start right.
It really did. And then it was like if if you were late to the class, he couldn't do anything because he was the guy that would write the notes anyway.
Exactly. So we had the best.
We really
That's funny.
did. Um, so let's talk about your high school experience as a whole. I mean, you come into San Francisco. You lived in Charleston, but then you moved to San Francisco with your former guardians. So, what was it like coming to a school like Stuart Hall, where it was in such in a pretty big city, but then such a small school?
At first, when I came to see the school, like to shadow it, I was with LaBoy. He's the one that was taking care of me when I came to visit. But for me, I wanted to go to Stuart. I mean, not Stuart. I wanted to go to Sacred Heart. It's a bigger school, and I felt like that would be a good opportunity to experience big school. But then when Benji said he wanted to go to Stuart Hall, that's when I said, okay, I'll go there too. And then look at that, made some good friends, man. It was fun. I liked it. For a small school like that, I actually learned a lot. I had more fun with the teachers 101, and they were willing to teach me or help me out.
Yeah, no, it certainly is a group school, but that was back in the days where Bosco's brother Benji would clearly make all the decisions.
I know he made that decision to go there. But beside that, it was pretty good.
It's pretty good. Well, Bosco, thank you for joining the KO to Convo today, man. I really appreciate it. It's always a great conversation with you.
It's always fun talking to you, my man. It's always fun.